Mr. Chairman, everyone is in from the waiting room.
All right, thank you. Good evening. This is the Board of Selectmen meeting of October 18th, 2022. And it is 6:02 and I'll be calling the meeting to order. And we'll open right up with public comment, if any. Right, Toby?
Thank you. Toby Arsenian, 95 Granite Street. An historic occasion. I attended, if one can call Zoom attending, the meeting of the Conservation Commission last night. They chose Laura Kozacek for their chair. I'm sure you know. Perhaps not your choice, but she'll be an excellent chairman. A proper grasp of the regulations, the local and the state ones, and a firm hand on the meeting, but also a concern that other members of the commission get a chance to speak. Both the town council, Amy Quessel, attending, and the new agent suggested that it was a good thing to limit or eliminate public comment at the meetings. Town council said that there was the possibility always with comment that the commission would be led into making remarks in response to what the public had to offer, and that would take you beyond the open meeting law. It occurred to me that if that's true of the Conservation Commission, it would certainly also be true of your board. And I remember your last meeting, perhaps it was the one before, when you had irate shopkeepers from Bearskin Neck come in. And indeed, you did respond at some length. And I would say that was altogether appropriate, but not if you listen to town council. If it's not on the agenda, supposedly it's nowhere. And yet, there's other business, and there are other titles, and it's in the course of things that other things that are not directly on the agenda are discussed. So I felt that was poor advice from town council. Maybe it's good legal advice, but in terms of running a town, a democracy, it's very poor advice. And I felt it came ill from the new agent. It may be convenient for him if no other issues are raised. He also said that the new agent, that they would be well advised to have somebody to turn to for peer review on an ongoing basis regularly. I was taken aback at that. That's probably his job to review the projects. It would make it a great deal easier for him and drive up costs greatly for the applicants. Certainly peer review is necessary and a proper option when projects are unduly large or complicated, controversial, but you want to save it for that. We hired the agent to review the projects, and there's no reason why applicants should have to pay twice. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. I will say I didn't feel that her comments about public comment was in general to all committees. I felt, actually, I don't know the laws and bylaws of the Conservation Commission, so they could be a little different for the with the hearings and everything like that. So I'll see if I can figure out exactly what she meant by that. Z?
Yeah, Z Sepula, 92 Granite Street. Just amplifying what Toby said, it was really a disappointment to hear town council offering advice or recommendations that public comment could lead to violations of the open meeting law. In one respect, she gave excellent advice. She said, it's when public comment is offered, it should be listened to without comment. And then you can just, absorb what was said and have a couple of weeks to think about what is being said and what is being offered to you before you have any precipitous comments. But it did seem to me that the conservation agent did amplify her concerns. And I don't think that it's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that at this stage of any town meeting, anybody has got any questions about the open meeting law. It's simply to allow us to witness what your rationale is for deliberations. If you don't deliberate anything, there's nothing to worry about with open meeting comments. Anyway, I'll just say that it was a disappointment to hear that from legal advice that, as the lawyer made clear, is the town is obligated to accept. Thank you.
Thank you, Z. All right. Last call for public comment. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to letter C. Consider appointment adjustment for Daniel Buckley to a full-time police officer from reserve officer. And I believe
Mr.
the
Chair?
chief, yep, go ahead.
Yep, Chief is here. He's going to walk you through the rationale. It's something that he and I have discussed, and I do support, and will ask that you approve the request upon the rationale from the chief.
Okay. Just get him unmuted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. So once again, I'm here to discuss the transition of Mr. Daniel Buckley from a reserve police officer position to a full-time police officer position. And the reason is due to the diminishing availability of police training for reserve police officers in the Commonwealth. Just to recap, on September 13th, the board interviewed and appointed Mr. Dan Buckley to a reserve police officer position effective Sunday, November 6th. Dan is currently a full-time civilian dispatcher with our department and has, as everybody knows, it was on that meeting, a career goal of being a police officer with our town. Following his appointment on the 13th, we registered him for the full-time police academy set to begin on Monday, November 14th in Linfield. And we registered Dan for the full-time academy due to the state no longer offering reserve police officer academies. The MPTC, which is the Municipal Police Training Committee and the governing authority for police academy training in the state, allowed us to register Dan, but he was immediately waitlisted due to his hiring as a reserve officer and not a full-time officer. The MPT's rationale for that is to provide preference to full-time candidates, but that doesn't help us and provides no guarantee for the training accommodation of reserve police officers who municipalities would like to attend a full-time academy. The result would be that Dan would not be able to attend the academy, rendering him unable to be trained at this time and work as an officer with our department. We need Dan to attend the police academy so he can be trained as an officer, obviously, and serve our community in this capacity. 2 weeks ago, we were able to secure one of the final 4 remaining seats in the academy, which is a total of 48 seats. They had 4 left. We were able to secure one based on our intention to appoint him, if the board approves, to a full-time capacity, which we would have done following his graduation anyway, had he been allowed to attend as a reserve police officer. As we sit here today, all of the remaining academy seats have been filled, and there is a wait list currently. My request is that the board appoint Mr. Buckley to a full-time police officer position with the same effective date of November 6th, so that we can get him trained and serving as an officer. I appreciate the board's understanding of our need to pivot in this situation and avail ourselves the opportunity to get Dan into the academy in November in Linfield. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And once again, thank you for your time and consideration here.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board? Selectman Murphy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, do you have any reservations, or is this just kind of a situation where things are just coming together all at once?
Yeah, it's really it's more of a red tape issue. As you know, with police reform, for all intents and purposes, the reserve police officer position in the Commonwealth is pretty much going away for most municipalities because of, you know, the increased demands, if you will, for the training. We need our reserve officers trained to the same level as our full-time officers. They do offer a bridge academy, which is an extra 200 hours. But, you know, I've sat down, I've done the math. If you add up the amount of hours we have to do to send them to the bridge, then he needs another 2,400 hours of actually working patrol shifts in order for me to apply for a waiver. It's just never going to happen. I've talked with other chiefs. The goal is to get them into a full-time police academy so they're trained to the same level that the state wants them. And for us, this is the shortest route to get him trained and getting him out there to serve our community.
Okay, but you have no reservations whatsoever?
No.
Okay,
My thoughts were to get him trained as a reserve, get him into the academy, and then once he comes out, we get him appointed full-time. But the way these academies fill up, we're not gonna have the opportunity to even get him in at that. Maybe we get him out to the Cape, but he lives in Gloucester. He's not gonna drive to Cape Cod every day to go to a police academy, or Boylston, or if you will. So it's difficult. It's a difficult
the
time.
other Cape.
Correct. The other Cape.
Selectman Lilly,
Are there any financial considerations? He was coming in as reserve. He now is effectively coming in as full-time. The salary issues, are the budgetary issues, anything of that nature?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. Sending him to the full-time academy now costs us about an extra $3,800 roughly. If we decided to send him the route of the Bridge Academy, it's a minimum of about $5,000 plus whatever amount of money we'd have to backfill shifts for him on overtime. So that just do the quick math. We're going to save money in the long run by just getting him into an academy now, rather than trying to do the Bridge Academy route. The Bridge Academy was put forward to try to help a lot of departments in the Commonwealth. I think it's a valiant effort by the MPTC, but I just don't feel that model works for us. We've tried it in the past with some of our officers, and we actually got them into a full-time academy based on availability and the need. So I don't have any reservations around the money connected to this issue whatsoever.
Okay, that was one half of my, or answer to one half of my question, which was perhaps not as well put as I should have. So from the standpoint of him being a full-time officer, was there a slot and salary available for him as a full-time officer versus being a reserve officer?
Sure, it's a good question. So we traditionally have gone with a model of 12 full-time officers and 2 dispatchers. We changed that for the last budget year, and we went with 11 officers and 3 dispatchers, for the simple fact that we couldn't hire a police officer. We couldn't find an officer to hire. We were able to find Dan Buckley, and we hired him as a dispatcher at that time.
Okay.
And it would just made sense. We were able to fill a position. So this model is going back to a 12 officer and 2 dispatcher model. So in essence, what we're doing is we're transitioning him from a dispatcher position over to a full-time police officer position.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, I move that the board adjust the appointment status for Daniel Buckley from a reserve officer to full-time officer, appointment date unchanged, as requested by the chief of police.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll do a roll call vote. Selectwoman Wilkinson,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Lilia,
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
Aye.
and Selectman Brackett votes aye. Motion carries. All right, chief,
Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
12th full-time officer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
All right, next on our agenda, we have election and early voting update from town clerk Melanie.
Hi, good night. Thank you guys for having me.
you
Just wanted to do a check-in. See, Thursday, the 6th, we received all of our mail-in ballot kits, and by Friday morning, we had 1,200 out. The long weekend came, we ran out of time with the postage, so we finished up last Tuesday. And as of today, we have almost 1,800 ballots mailed out. We're at 100%. So anybody who has requested one has been mailed a mail-in ballot. Anybody who's interested in knowing where it is in the process, you can check if we've mailed it, and you can check if we've received it through Track Your Ballot. You can just Google Track My Ballot Massachusetts, and it will bring you to the Secretary of State's website. So you can track your ballot if you're interested to know if we got it back or not. Our early voting starts this Saturday. It's going to be from 8 to 2 in the town hall in the town clerk's office. It will be this coming Saturday and the following Saturday from 8 to 2. And then next week and the week after will be business hours in the town clerk's office. So 2 whole weeks of early voting. We'll start pushing it a little bit more on social media and see where we get. During the primary, we had a 66% return rate on the vote by mail ballots. And we're trending like just a little bit over. I actually thought we would have had a lot more requests for the state election versus the primary. But we're only about 400 ballots more for this election than we were for the primary. So it's still a good turnout so far. I'm working with Carrie Herman, teacher Herman up at the high school, and hopefully either this week or next week, she's the civics teacher. I'm gonna go in and visit some of the 8th grade civics classes. And we have to do the testing of the ballots, which will be a public meeting probably next week. But I'm gonna go up and talk to the kids about election transparency and have them fill out some ballots themselves that we will then bring back to town hall and use during the public meeting. So I think it's just a good opportunity to be able to get into the classroom and, talk about what we're doing down here. Something that, it's I've been waiting for the ballots to get here, and I wish I had a little bit more time, but they're here now. So either this week or next week, I'll be up at the school. And I have turned the warrant over to you, Board of Selectmen, and we'll get that posted and out by the end of the week. So,
Any questions for town clerk?
That's great. Yeah, Melanie, I know that Ross and myself, maybe it was Dawn. I'm not sure if anybody else last year Paul went and talked to a bunch of Carrie's 8th grade civics classes about being a selectman last year. It's really cool. The kids are super engaged. It's cool.
yeah. I just think it's great that, I was like, well, we have all these ballots. I have to fill out 50 of them. So why not get them to fill them out for me?
Yeah.
Awesome. It'll be random. So
yeah.
We can sit down and, look through it and count up all the ballots and just show them how we actually test to make sure that the machines work and are working properly. So
that's cool. Great idea.
Selectman Murphy?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Melanie, thank you for all your hard work. I know this time of year is very stressful for you, and then you compile that with the people are upset about elections and so forth, and fraud and so forth. So it's not easy, but the more people that vote, the easier we make it to vote legally, and of course, I think it's better. So tip of the hat to you. Thank you. And your staff.
Yeah, my staff really, but the assistant town clerk and the election workers they've been there for me, and they've come in and they've helped us get the ballots out, and they're there during the election. So it's a team effort. So thank you.
Yeah.
Selectman Lloyd?
Yes, Melanie.
I get to vote with my son, Michael. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Herm.
Okay, thank you. Good to see you here. And again, thank you for your activities associated with the upcoming election. Have you had any feedback of a negative nature with regard to the upcoming election?
No, and I'm going to knock on wood. Leading up to the primary, we had a lot of people who had a lot of questions and did attend a lot of our public meetings and asked a lot of questions. And I believe that through the asking of questions and through the transparency and through seeing the process, that it answered and solidified, or got rid of any doubt that there might have been. I think once you see the process and understand the process, it's hard. You can't really doubt it because it's solid. And there's so many checks and balances. It gets a little repetitive at times, but there are so many checks and balances. It's a great system. So we haven't had this time, and I hope we don't. And I'm here for questions for anybody that has them. I'm happy to walk anybody through how the whole process works.
Thank you.
How's the return rate with the mail-in ballots? You get a lot of them back that you send out, or?
Right now, I did get that number, and I don't know where we're at. No, because they're coming in rapid fire right now because we just got them out. And we put the last bulk of them out on the 11th. So when I look over there, I'd probably say there's only about 300 right now of the 1,800 that we've mailed out. But
you usually get all of them back in past election.
Well, last time we sent out about 1,400 and we got about 900 back. So we'll see. You never know. there's just so many options. You can vote in person, you can vote by mail, you can vote on election day, you know, there's so many choices.
Alrighty, any other
Perfect.
questions?
Nope. Thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
Melanie.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
Alright.
me.
thank you, Melanie. All right, next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda, which is consider approval of November 8th, 2022 election warrant. Consider approval of minutes, if any, release of funds from the Wetlands Protection Account, Conservation Commission. And do I have a motion for that?
Yes, I move that the board approve all non-held items on the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. No further discussion. Roll call vote. Selectwoman Wilkinson,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Lilia.
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
Aye.
and Selectman Brackett votes aye. Motion carries. And then next on our list, I'm gonna turn it over to Vice Chairwoman Wilkinson to take on the consider approval of one-day liquor license. And I will recuse myself from the discussion.
Oh, sure, happy to. This is a liquor license for one, sorry, I have my agenda on my phone because I had some computer problems. This is a one-day alcohol license for the Pigeon Cove Circle, I believe for a dance on this coming Saturday, October 22nd. I think it's a Halloween fundraiser dance.
That's correct. And Linda DeCourcy, I believe, is here representing Pigeon Cove Circle. She's the signatory
great.
on the application. Linda,
Oh, there she
you with
is.
us?
Hi,
Hi, Linda. Nice to hear
Hi.
your voice.
yes, hi, how are you?
Do you want to just tell us briefly about the event?
Yeah, it's not my favorite holiday, but so I'll be wearing a little costume. Yeah, we're just having a Halloween costume party. You don't have to wear a costume, but it's from 6 to 10 at the Circle. There will be a DJ. We do have a tip licensed bartender. So with we're not expecting any underage people to show, but everyone will be carded, so there shouldn't be an issue with that. Apparently we had a dance in May and it was a big success, so everyone's looking forward to this dance. And we're hoping to, raise some money for the Circle and have fun doing it.
That's great. I saw the flyer for it. It looks great, and I hope you have
Yeah.
a really nice time.
Yeah,
Are there any questions from the board? Nope, hearing none. And Mitch,
No,
everything in
it's
the
like a great
application,
event. I read the flyer as well.
Mitch, everything in the application, I believe, looks to be in order.
Correct. No issues, Madam Chair. Police and fire have signed off from their sections as well.
Great. I was scheduled to make the motion, but would someone else mind making it? And then, Paul, would you like to make
Sure.
it? Great.
Can you guys hear me? My internet keeps going in and out.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Madam Chair, I move that the board approve the request for a one-day alcohol license for the Pigeon Cove Circle for Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. as presented in the application.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Any further comment? Enjoy yourselves, and I hope that you raise a lot of money.
thank you.
Roll call vote, Selectman Murphy? I think we.
Aye.
Okay. Selectman Lilia,
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
Aye.
and Selectwoman Wilkinson. Aye. Motion carries. Nice to hear your voice, Linda.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone. I
Bye.
hope you come down.
We'll try.
Okay, thank you.
Great. And Ross can come back. Give Ross a second. There he is.
Alrighty. All right, next on the list is the consider approval of an Eagle Scout project. I think we have room to fort here for a map board of Dogtown, if he wants to. There you go, I see him. How you doing,
Hello.
Ryan?
Thank you, Selectman. I am here to ask the approval of my Eagle Scout project. I plan to put a map board up at the top of Summit Ave over by Turtle Rock, displaying a map of Dogtown, as well as fix some of the picnic tables up there that need some fixing as they are in some pretty bad shape. I will also create maps for the map mailbox that is up there so that it will stay stocked. It will be a copy of the map that is on the map board. And I'm just wondering if I can get some approval from you guys, if that sounds good.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Selectwoman Donnelly?
Yeah, hi, Rune, this sounds like a great project. Thank you for taking it on. How will you create the map? Are you using an existing map or are you drawing
Yes,
a new map?
I have this old map that I got from Jeff Hildenen. It is of Dogtown. It is quite detailed. This one has a mustard stain on it for objective, you know, it's a nice map. I got it, not this specific one because it has a mustard stain, but I got it scaled up and printed onto a large sheet of plastic by Seaside Graphics. So it is looks really good right now. I am pretty much ready to put it up if I can get approval from you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you for doing this.
Selectman Loya?
Oh, just a quick comment. Yes, we're in a very good project. We went through the process of creating a bike map for the town of Rockport. The biggest problem associated with the bike map was stocking the folder container. So therefore, you have said that you will be responsible for stocking it. And I hope that you can maintain that stock, maintain your enthusiasm, so that people, when they go there, as you have said in your letter, actually, that you had never found a map in the a spot that was supposed to contain maps for Dogtown Common. But anyway, if you would do that, or your colleagues would do it, and pass it off to the rest of the Boy Scout community so that it's always stocked as we go 5 years down the road, that would be great. It's a very great idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Selectman Wilkinson?
Yeah, this is awesome, Rune. I take my dog up to Summit Ave, and I was like looking around, and I think this is like a perfect project. I have to say again, I know I say this whenever the Eagle Scouts come, and maybe it's COVID and you guys are used to Zoom, but the younger guys are like pros on camera with presenting. They're like better with technology than we are.
Yes, much.
I just have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Thank you.
Like, did you raise money to get it printed at Seaside, or how do you pay for the
Yes,
materials and stuff?
I got one of the charitable grants from the bank Institution for Savings to pay for the map, and I got some of the materials for the map board donated to me by Ace Hardware.
Awesome. So great. Nice to give them a little shout out as well. So thanks so much. And this is exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't get up that much, but once it's built, I'll bring my kids up and I'll let them use the map.
Awesome.
All right. Any further questions? I'm not, is Selectman Murphy there? I don't see a video.
Yeah, I'm
so-
here. Can you hear me?
Yep, if you have any questions, let me know. I don't know. if
No,
you
no,
raised
no,
your
my
hand.
video, something's gone on wrong with my internet here at home.
All
So
righty.
you can't see me, which is probably a good thing, but you can hear me.
Yep. All right. If there's no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that the board approve the Eagle Scout project as presented by Rune DeFort.
Do I have a second? All right. Roll call vote. Selectwoman Wilkinson,
Hi.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Loya.
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
Aye.
and Selectman Brackett votes aye. Motion carries. Congratulations, Rune. Do you
Thank
know
you
when the
very
project
much.
will be completed?
Hopefully this weekend.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you
cool.
again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next up on the agenda is consider approval of seasonal population estimates for ABCC. I
Yes,
think
Mr.
Mitch
Chair.
is- okay.
The town is required each year to submit what it believes its seasonal population will be each year as part of the alcohol licensing process. The town for a number of years has submitted 13,000 as its projected increase for seasonal population. I'm again recommending that amount to you and ask that you approve 13,000 as the seasonal population increase so that we can forward that to the ABCC for the alcohol licensing process.
Alrighty, any questions for Mitch? Selectwoman Donnelly,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mitch, I just want to clarify. So this is the estimated increase. So the total population estimated for the summer is about 20,000?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Selectman Lawyer.
This number has been a number that has been in use or referred to for years and years and years. The question becomes, is it no larger than it ever has been projected? Or do you have a better handle on projecting it? Or you have faith in this number? Tell me why you have faith in this number.
I don't have any reason to doubt it at this point. I think we need to let things settle post-pandemic a bit before we try to make a deeper assessment on it. I think where we are right now, it's suitable for our needs.
Thank you.
Selectman Murphy, anything from you?
No, no.
All right.
Would you like a motion?
Yeah, I'll take a motion. If Selectwoman Wilkinson, you have any
No,
questions or no?
all
All
good.
right, yeah, I'll entertain a motion.
Sure. Mr. Chair, I move that the board determine the seasonal population estimate for 2023 as 13,000.
And do I have a second?
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Selectwoman Wilkinson,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
Aye.
Selectman Lawyer,
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
aye.
and Selectman Brackett votes aye. Motion carries. And next on the agenda, we have Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator updates, and I'll turn it over to Mitch again for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As the board is aware, you received correspondence from the chair of the planning board, Jason Shaw, relating to his specific request that the board call for a special town meeting to accommodate the remaining zoning matters that were not completed, or I should say that did not pass at the last town meeting.
Did we
The
get an
plan-
email for that?
You did, yep.
I must-
The planning board has had a public hearing on the matter. So this is not to set a date tonight. It's more of getting your thoughts on when it might be appropriate, if you want to have one, number one. And then if you think it's appropriate, the clerk is here as well. Just gathering some thoughts before we start to put some time into more formal setup. We are approaching the holidays, and that needs to be factored in on timing for things. So I would put it out there, and actually, perhaps, Mr. Chair, if it's all right with you, I would ask if the clerk has anything she wants to add to it.
Melanie?
No, I actually got to hear a little bit of the public hearing, and it seemed to be well received by the building inspector, and I know there was a watershed overlay, so it seemed to be very well received by the public that was there, and by the different departments that had input on it. It's your call, it's your meeting. I think about the cost of another special town meeting, the cost of having, the audio visual people there, and the DPW workers, but I'm getting very well versed in Attorney General submissions, so.
Selectwoman Donnelly?
Yeah, if I may, I would like to speak in favor of conducting this meeting. From what you said in the last meeting we were on together, Mitch, the spring warrant is already full. And I know that the planning board really feels urgently that this is something that the town has to act on. The changes that were not approved are important to the operation of the rest of the bylaws, some of them. Some of them are sort of less material, but important to make. So I would like to urge us to go ahead and approve this request.
Any other comments or questions?
I did get I thought I found Jason's email. I thought it was an email like in the last couple days, but I did find, I do remember receiving the email. Honestly, I'm happy, like, it's not the meeting that I have an issue. I'm happy to have the meeting. I just feel like November, December are kind of brutal maybe November would be fine. I
So
think November, I think December is like,
timeline wise now, so if we look at now, if we were to just take the calendar and work our way out, we don't yet have the actual draft bylaws yet from the planning board. So they have had their public hearing. I don't have the draft articles yet from the chair. I know he's been away, so I expect that I'll probably get him next week when he's back. Special town meetings are a 2-week notice period. So when you put that out, we have some prep work that we need to do to make sure that we can get the meeting set up. We need to get the vendors squared away. We need to check on the space. We're pushing, like from right now, if we were to start on this, say Monday, we're pushing awfully close to Thanksgiving. So it may end up being better that if you do opt for it, that it be early December. So if we look at just posting requirements alone, the warrant has to be drafted. The warrant has to be approved by council. You have to approve it. It has to be posted. That takes up about 2 weeks. We would be smack into Thanksgiving if we were to go for November at this point. So functionally, if you're looking for a Monday evening, December 5th is probably your best bet, pending availability for folks.
I see Harry Korsland is on. I expect he's here representing the planning board. Harry, do you have a sense of when Mitch can expect the draft articles from Jason?
Am I muted? Am I unmuted? I'm unmuted
You're
now.
unmuted.
So actually, I wasn't here to represent the planning board, but I happen to be here.
surprise.
Yeah, thank you. But I'm glad to hear of this. I from the standpoint of prospective timing of the first Monday in December, I don't see that to be an issue. Jason should be back within the next few days. We do have a hearing, a scheduled, regularly scheduled meeting this coming Thursday, though he's not scheduled to be present for that. I don't see an issue, but I will echo what Selectman Donnelly said, and that is it's important to get these matters back before the voters. Timing is not ideal given the holiday season, but we really ought not to wait much longer.
I guess my issue with the timing I feel like members of boards and committees will be there, right? I feel like the people who are involved will be there. I just worry like the lack of participation by the public in a town meeting.
If I
I mean,
may,
I have no problem.
That's always a challenge, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
always a challenge.
Mitch, do you just kind of need a
more so this
consensus?
time of year, but I don't think. Is that a question of me?
No, that's to Mitch.
So I would be helpful for me to have a consensus from you tonight so that we can say, okay, let's
Start
start
looking.
the process. Let's get rolling.
You know,
There's some booking pieces.
If I may, I didn't mean to, I'm not on camera because my internet's down. So I'm not sure if I'm interrupting anyone, but, you know, people, we know that town meetings happen on a regular basis and the same people over and over show up and so forth. So as long as we go through the process of, you know, advertising and make sure we adhere to that, then we do it. Obviously, we don't want to do it around holidays and things of that nature, but I think if it's and I believe that's that you know, there's an urgency. I think we do it as soon as we possibly can.
Well, I don't see the same urgency, and I do worry about having a town meeting the first part of December. a lot of conflict, a lot of people doing a lot of different things. Admittedly, it's a Monday night. The concept of having the same people show up, who always show up, is both, what can I say, satisfying and disturbing to me. But I mean, I'll support it. If the others are going to support it, I'll support it. I just think that it's not the best timing.
Selectwoman Donnelly?
Yeah, I think, all things being equal, if the planning board had a choice, they would prefer it to be a different time as well. But they put a lot of time and effort into this and have the momentum now. I think given the subject matter, the chances of a crowd showing up are probably minimal anyway. So I would suggest that we just go ahead and move forward with this.
How many did they break it into articles, Mitch?
I think maybe Tom Meekus, I didn't, oh, he's gone now. Okay.
I think it's 5 or 7, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
All right, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with going forward, giving you the consensus if everyone else is on board, just to start looking into it and see what we have in store for us.
Okay. And that's what, again, that's what is necessary tonight. So if the consensus is that there's a willingness to move forward,
Yes.
the clerk and I have kind of these checklists we've got to run through for who's available, staffing, things like that. So we'll each kind of start on those. Knowing this, we'll check the school availability. We'll check with the moderator on his availability. And come back to you with some final information.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I mean, my guess is that I'm just looking at the school, because my guess it would be in the auditorium, right? I mean, it's smack in the middle of basketball season. So my guess, and my guess is we wouldn't do the gym, but I'm just looking at the concert schedule as well. So, I know this time of year, there are holiday concerts and it's more than than September. So.
And I think
But-
the
but
location.
If you do it early December, most of those holiday concerts, schools are in the second and a half week of December. So if we did it right after Thanksgiving, that'd be fine. I suspect.
Alrighty. So I think you guys can get the consensus, Mitch, to start looking into it. See what we
Okay.
can put together.
Thank you. Yep, we'll proceed with that. The next item, actually, if we could take 3 and then 2, scheduling for the rest of the calendar year for your board meetings. So accommodating for the adjustment from last week to this week. The new meeting layout for your regular meetings would be after this one, November 1st, November 15th, November 29th, and then December 13th. Usually you only hold one in December. So that would carry us through to the end of the calendar year. I expect that there will be a need for 1 or 2 additional special meetings somewhere in there. But as far as your regular meetings, this is what an adjusted schedule looks like laid out. So barring any issue or any objection from the board, we'll proceed with planning for you with this new schedule.
I won't be able to do a November 15th. I don't know if we can do the Monday or the Wednesday, if everyone else can do that.
Is the 14th, I think. Hold on.
14th is Board of Health. I know that. And that's the Monday.
So hold on. So we'd be the 15th. I'm just,
You'd be Tuesday, the 15th. Yep.
hold on one sec.
Purposely
That's-
avoiding November 8th as that's election day, Madam Clerk, correct?
Yes.
So purposely avoiding that.
Yeah. Okay, so what did you say, Ross? You can't do the
I
15th?
just can't do the 15th, that's all.
Okay. Okay, I think that's fine.
Okay. All right, and then tied into that, I wanted to gauge the board's interest in bringing back your employee and volunteer holiday event. So the board did that for a number of years. It's always been well received. It had a at least 2-year hiatus with COVID. And so I wanted to see if there was interest in that. And if there is, based on your meeting schedule, I would suggest the 20th of December.
I think that's a great idea. I think I agree. The town employees and the volunteers loved it. And if we can do it again at the community center, let's go for it. And I'm happy to help in any way to put it together.
Yeah, likewise.
And likewise, I definitely support that.
Yeah, happy to do it. I might need a little more help than usual.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll reserve the facility. I'll do that now, and we will get preparations going for it.
So it would be,
What day is the 20th?
Tuesday,
Tuesday, perfect.
we don't have a meeting that day.
correct.
Okay, got it.
And when we get a little bit closer, we can look at what time you feel is best. In the past, on a Tuesday, you've made adjustments, you've authorized adjustments to the town hall hours to.
I think
move it a
people
little further.
really like,
Yes.
really like that. So
That's probably the best received part of it. So Tuesdays are hard, so.
I agree.
We'll come back to you with that as we get a little closer.
cool.
All right. Any updates from the board? Selectwoman Donnelly?
Well, I'll defer to Selectman Lilia, but the Conservation Commission met last night. So they're back and in action, and the new conservation agent listened in. And then I also attended the Green Community Task Force this afternoon, along with Ross and Mitch. There was a lot of discussion about streetlights and the proposal that they put forward, I guess, maybe a year ago or longer. So I think that will be resurfacing.
Anything else? Selectman Lilia?
Well, let's continue on with the Conservation Commission. Yes, we've had our first meeting. It was an effective meeting. It was a time for the board to be formalized, finalized, chair to be elected, vice chair to be elected, and for the introduction of the new agent, whom came across, I thought, in a way that represented his experience. And he's a seasoned individual, which is exactly what we need. So from the general form of the meeting, I think it was great. I think to some degree it might have been a little bit more focused. There was a lot said about keeping the meetings focused. That part, I think, was not always there. But that being the case, we're off and running. I did go to the Green Committee or attend the Marine Committee meeting this afternoon. And that's Selectman Donnelly's realm, but I'll comment a little bit. I wish they were a little bit more organized. They need, yes, to come back with this proposal associated with the purchase, the acquisition of the lighting in town. It needs to be flawless and fully understood by everybody whose hands it passes through. And anyway, I think that will sort itself out, but I don't think that this afternoon's meeting was the best example of their organization. But anyway, that being said, I'll drop it there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then I will just give the update that the Rockport downtown businesses will be doing a trick or treat Sunday, October 30th from 3 to 5. So if anyone wants to bring their kids out, the businesses, I'm not sure if all of them will be, but most of them will be handing out candy. Selectwoman Wilkinson?
Yeah, last night Board of Health met. I know Ruth George is here and she's good about coming to our meetings. I couldn't attend. I did talk to Dr. Newman ahead of time because I know train idling and the Board of Health received a petition, and I kind of gave Dr. Newman the background, which I'm sure Ruth George knew as well, of us dealing with Keolis. It looks like maybe they're going to be reaching out to the EPA to see if kind of Board of Health EPA has maybe some more leverage. So I'll follow up with him after. And then as I'm not sure if all selectmen got an invitation or if I just did as liaison, but to meet with the superintendent.
No.
Okay,
Everybody did.
Oh,
everybody
you did? Oh, okay.
So somewhere it might have come from Amanda Ogier, who's in the superintendent's office.
Okay.
I met with the new superintendent today as part of his entry survey study. And the survey is actually sent to the whole school system and then lots of people in town without kids in the school system. And it's really valuable. I believe the survey is open until October 21st. And they're really looking to get as much input as possible. And then we as stakeholders are also invited to do an interview with the superintendent. And so today I did that interview and we met. I was back in the new kind of administrative headquarters, which are in the wing of the elementary school, which shout out to Monty and your team, because I'm sure that you guys were key in making that happen. But it's really cool. It's really nice to have like an administrative wing and to have the administration have windows and connect to the outside. And the staff seem excited to be in there. So I had met with the superintendent on like right before school started. And so I hadn't been in there since, but nice to see him. And I know he's really enjoying being here so far and he is diving right into everything. So good to meet with him.
Anything else from the board? And if not, we'll move on to public comments. And I already see Nathaniel has got his hand up, so we'll go with him first.
Thank you, Mitch. I just wanted to follow up on Selectman Leah's update. As a happily newly appointed member of the Conservation Commission, I stepped up and I wanted the rest of the select board to know that I am the liaison for the Conservation Commission to the Select Board. So happy to provide any additional information moving forward, happy to assist the communication between the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board and the Conservation Commission. In any way I can be of assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Thank you. And then Toby. All right.
Toby Arsenian, 95 Granite Street. Discussing the possibility of a special town meeting for the zoning changes that the planning board wishes to pass. Mitch Vieira said that we didn't have draft articles. I'm totally flummoxed and baffled. Presumably anything that they would bring to the town meeting were the changes that they presented at the public hearing. Will Mitch Vieira please confirm that? And I have further comment.
So, Mr. Chair, through you, what I said was, I don't have them yet. The planning board has their process. They transmit the articles over to this office. We just don't have that transmittal yet. It's not that it's something different or that something else will be presented. Just it's in the works. Those take a little time. There were changes that were made during the hearing. I think there was 1 or 2 sections that were made during the hearing. The chair is working on that, I would presume, and I'm sure we'll see them as soon as he's back from his trip.
Thank you. That clarifies that. I would question the propriety of holding a meeting less than a year after the town meeting chose to reject the changes to the articles. And earlier it was said that dispensation was needed from the Attorney General to do that. Later, Jason Shaw reversed course and said that wasn't necessary. Could we have a reading on that, please? And then I have one further comment.
Mr. Chair, the planning board is allowed to come forward with something based on a report of the planning board. So moving something forward with a report of the planning board is not impacted by the requirement to wait a certain amount of time.
I see. And do you possess this report, or where is it available?
That's part of what will be transmitted along with the articles, I'm sure.
I see. And I would point out that added to what was rejected at the town meeting, the special town meeting in May, are the watershed protection bylaw. And that is not in order, in that there is a paragraph in there that says that any lot of which any portion lies within the boundary of the watershed protection overlay districts, the 400 feet from surface water sources, that in those cases, the entire lot will be considered part of the watershed overlay district. So from that, it follows that what's on the map and the text do not match, and they need to match. I've tried to bring this to the planning board's attention at their meeting 2 days after the public hearing and was rudely interrupted in mid-sentence. And just as a matter of common sense and fairness, the text and the map have to match. I believe that that would be a legal requirement. I'm not certain, but I will tell you that if they go forward with the map as it now stands and that section of the text, which says something quite different from what is shown on the map, it will be appealed to the Attorney General.
All right, thank you, Toby.
I just want to say, it's awful when you get rudely interrupted.
Next up is Monica.
That was snide.
What did you say?
It's
Go ahead,
Oh,
Monica.
okay, yeah, okay, thank you very much. Wearing my Rights of Way committee hat, I just wanted to make the selectmen aware, you may know already, tomorrow evening at the high school cafeteria, at the school cafeteria, the Rights of Way committee is hosting a meeting of a number of the groups in town, both committees and other organizations that have anything to do with the management and maintenance of town-owned land in Rockport. And it's, both Rights of Way, Open Space Committee, Beautification Committee, Old Garden Beach Association, Greenbelt, Cape Ann Trail Stewards, et cetera, and the DPW as well, to discuss, really to exchange information among us on what our charge is for each group and what our priorities are, and to look for ways to better collaborate and bring some consistency in the way various parcels are managed in terms of signage and boardwalks and mapping and things of that nature. We have noticed there's been a lot of confusion over the past months, et cetera, on who's responsible for what and who does what where. So this is an opportunity to clarify some of that and find ways to bring the groups closer together for collaborative efforts to the benefit of the town.
So were we invited to this?
You were, it looks like it went to Selectman Murphy as the liaison.
Oh,
And can you just note the time again, Monica? I didn't hear the time.
It's going to be at 7 o'clock in the school cafeteria.
Thank you.
And it's really, this kind of build, we did this about 3 years ago, and we intended to make it an ongoing practice, but got interrupted by the pandemic. So I think as a practical matter, we're starting all over again because there are, in some cases, new people involved, et cetera. So it's really an initial meeting, and I hope we'll be able to do it on an annual basis to bring people up to speed annually on what's new and what the new priorities are, et cetera. But for example, as we discuss building boardwalks for the headlands, it brings up the question, well, is there best practices on boardwalks? Should we be doing similar boardwalks wherever we need boardwalks in Karen Preserve or Delamata, et cetera? So this is a good opportunity to bring everyone together so there's better understanding of who does what and what the needs are and how we might be able to work together. So you're more than welcome to attend.
Would love, I think Herm Lilia is planning to attend. Any of you who are interested, certainly by all means, would love to see
Yes,
you.
Monica, I got the invitation. I plan on attending as well. I'm happy to report back to the board as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. All right, if there's no more further public comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second,
All right, roll call vote. Selectwoman Wilkinson,
Aye.
Selectman Murphy,
aye.
Selectman Lilia,
Aye.
Selectwoman Donnelly,
Aye.
and Selectman Brackett votes aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.